Hello, welcome to your third guitar lesson on the basics. This is going to be one of the more important lessons, in my opinion, for later on. Here we're going to be learning the hand positioning. Now, this part, if it's not learned well, you can learn bad habits, and that could learn to injuries, and you can have, it'll hurt every time you play, and that's not good. So you want to have it good the first time, so then later on you can just play with ease. So when the hand position, we're going to be talking about not our right hand, but our left hand. And this is the hand on the guitar, on the frets. And the frets are the metal rods. So when you normally, to put our hand, we have chords, we have notes, or we have other types of, or we have bends. And these are three important hand positions which we'll learn. But today, for this lesson, we're going to be learning the most basic one, which is, or the most fundamental one, which is just playing notes. So, notes on each string in the guitar. So, first, you want to look at our, I'm going to be using my right hand, but you'll be looking at your left hand. And on your left hand, you're going to be wanting to put, so before putting any of our fingers on the guitar, you just want to have your hand all shaken up and loose. So you want to try to have a straight arm right here. You want to have this part straight, forearm. And then you want to, so you first want to have, this is the first part, just having a straight forearm. So when you go with your left hand, when you have it straight like this, so you have it 90 degrees, you have it 90 degrees, or you can have it a bit planked depending, but you just want to have this part straight. So you just have it 90 degrees and then you have it like this. So it's like this. This is the first part. Now the second part would be when now we have to put it on the guitar. So you have our hand like this. It can either be straight or like this. You just want to have the elbow straight, this part. And then, so now we have to put it on the guitar. So you can see that when I have it straight, it's not on the guitar. So now if we just move it up, our arm like this, it'll be on the guitar. So you just want to have that motion. So you have it like this, straight, and just go up. So now when you go from first step, and then remember to put on the neck, you want the neck to be touching this part. So you don't want to be touching this part, you want to be touching the end of your thumb kind of. So you want to go like that. So you want to have it. So loosen it up. So you have a first step straight. Next, just put it on the guitar like that. So you want to have it, the neck is resting, or you're resting on this part. See? So you go like that. So that's our second step. So now we have it like this. So if I do it on this hand, straight, and then so you have it like this. And the neck, pretend it's resting right here. Now, what you wanna, so that's the second step. Make sure you have those steps, first and second step, like perfect, because the next steps are gonna need you to have those really well, so then you can do them. So first step, second step. You can see that my thumb is outward. It is not on the neck right now. So you want to keep it like that at the moment. And then this is also outward. So you want to have it done, done. All right. Now, remember I said the thumb was outward? Now you want to move it inward, like that. So instead of having it go like this, where it's outside, you want to go like that. So it's also resting at the top. A good indicator, if you're doing it right, is that you're on top of the fretboard, which is the wood on top, or if you have a maple neck, which is the same wood then, it's just your thumb is on top of the fretboard. Normally that's a good indicator, like that. If your hand is tense here, what you can do is move it down a bit or move it up a bit, but still keeping this straight arm form and this straight arm form with this going up. You can move it down or up, but you still want to have that. That's the most important part. So you move it there, right? Done, your thumb's outward, like that, and then you move it in. Now I can move it down, up, this way, this way. You want to be able to have free rotation, you know. You can anchor it like this, but your thumb is always in the same place. Like, it's not moving like up or down or side. It's just anchoring, so it's like an anchor, you know. It's like this. So your thumb is moving, and then you're moving your hand. See? So you want to try to get that really well. So first step, remember, always just shaking, Okay, so now you want to have your straight arm like this, or any angle really. You just want to have it this part straight. So you move it, you have it straight. Now you got to put your hand in the neck. So open your hand, and there. You want it resting at the end. And then you want to move your thumb inward. So it's also resting. So we went from this to this, and then this. That's the third step. So then you have it inward. And now, like, this is straight. This is all straight. Your thumb is resting on the neck, like this. And your hand is free, so you can go like down, up, slide. You can do anything. Now you want to put your finger on the first note. Your your thumb and your index finger, or your first finger, they can be touching each other, but just you want to make sure that this is not tense. You want to make it least tense as possible. So you want to have it like just not tense, but they could be touching each other, like right now. My hand's not tense, but they're touching. That's okay. You can also have it down here. My hand's not tense, you know. Wherever you think is best. Now you don't also remember, you want to have this straight, so you don't want to have it like, you know, something like that, or like, you still want to have it straight. And also an important thing is that your arm is always behind the neck. So don't have it like this. See, it's not behind. Like if I have it like that, and the neck's right here, you gotta go behind. You know? That's an important part. So first step, straight arm, moving your hand like that. Put it on, rest your thumb, make sure it's behind, and then open your fingers, place your first finger down. So let's see. Behind, you can see. This is my first finger, putting it down. And then you can play with a pick or anything else, it doesn't matter. So you got open, hand positioning. Let's go to the 5th fret where it's a bit easier to play. You can put your first finger like that. And you can see everything straight. This is not after the neck, and my thumb is relaxed. And then, so you just want to have that perfect, because we're going to be doing other more complicated things, which require that to be really well. And if you don't have that well, then it'll be a lot harder to continue with chords or bending. You'll have cramps, and it won't be fun. So right now, it might feel a bit awkward, this positioning, but you'll get used to it, and it'll become a lot easier later on. Also, if it's tense, you really want to try to untense that. So if I'm feeling like really tense like this, someone might have it like this. This is pretty tense. You just want to move this down a bit. You want to move it down there. See, it's instead of being like that, like 90 degrees, you can just move it like that, and then go up. Also, if it helps you, you can rest your arm on your leg. Now, you don't want to get used to this, but at the beginning, it could help. So if I'm like this, resting it, that helps. So you just want to have it, remember, the 4 steps. So you'll go straight, move it up like that, and then you want to put it on the neck. Make sure your thumb is resting on it, so turn it. And then when it's turned like that, you want to open your fingers, and then you can play it. Make sure your hand's not too tense. So maybe what I would do is just practice without even the guitar. You're just like doing something, and then just like, okay, so first step straight, move it up, twist the thumb, open the fingers, and start playing. If you have this motion perfect, If you have this really well, it'll be a lot easier on the guitar. So maybe if the neck is bothering you, or if it's the fretboard, you're not used to it now, you can just start doing it like with nothing. Just go like this, and move it like that. You can have this, and you can move your fingers. And this should not be tense. You should, it shouldn't be hurting. So if it's hurting, or if you're like, I don't know, doing something like this, or if your thumb is like that, and you're like this, that's not, you want to make it straight. And on the guitar, the steps, dun, dun. So when you're on like the 5th fret, let's say, which is the 2nd dot, when you're over there, you don't want your thumb to be all the way at the extreme, like if I have it like this, like, with the formation we did, you don't want to have it over here when you're playing the notes. You want to have it straight. So a lot of people, it's a common thing where they forget, they start playing the notes and then their thumb starts drifting off, and then you get something like this, and you want to remember, keep it straight. So what I recommend is that you just put your first finger and review everything. Is my forearm straight? Is my thumb resting on it curved? Is my elbow, is my forearm behind the neck? Are my fingers, is my finger, playing the note? Like, is it on the note? And if everything checks out, then you want to go on to the next note. Remember, when you go into the next finger or next note, which is the 6th fret, you want to keep this finger on. If it hurts or if it's annoying, you can take it off, but just remember that with practice, you're going to want to keep it on, so then you'll be able to take off fingers off and off, and that'll be a lot easier for chords and coordination with different fingers changing. It'll help you. So if in the beginning, if you just want to get this right, maybe not even the notes, just don't even play them, just practice. Just go like, and remember, we're just doing the 1st string, then I'll talk about the A string. So we're just doing the E string. You just want to practice that. And with your fingers, normally, if they're like this, or if they're like, I don't know, something like different, like this. So if they're like this, like straight up, or like this, or, any other formation, you don't worry too much about that. Just make sure you have this. But when you have this, when you have the arm perfected, you're going to want to make sure you have that right, so then you can play notes under at the same time. So, which this could be really hard in the beginning, which makes sense. So what I recommend is, remember, just having this arm perfect and having that. Okay, so to sum up what we did, we just talked about how we play notes on the guitar with good positioning. And that positioning follows as: shake it up, have your arms straight. So this doesn't have to be a 90 degree, it just has to be this part straight. So movable. Then when you have it movable, you want to put your hand on the guitar, make sure that the neck is resting, or your fingers resting at this part. Then you want to put it on the guitar, and then you want to put it on the guitar, your thumb needs to curve. And then when your thumb's done curving, you can first play your first note with your first finger, and then make sure everything else is right. So just do it fast right now. There you go. So this is straight, my thumb's there, my finger's there, everything else is good. And then you should hear your note. And on the next lesson, we'll be talking about exercises on how to perfect your fingering and how to make sure it's not, it's like this. You don't want to have that happening. So this lesson, we'll talk about positioning, which we just did. And the next lesson, we'll talk about our fingers, how to play them, and some common exercises. Thanks.